In this recording, we're going to look at one more selection tool. It's the last one on the list that I talked about. It's the quick selection tool and the magic wand. If you look over to your tools panel, you'll see that there's a little brush with a kind of dotted circle, or it may look like this. So nested in the same spot are the quick selection tool and the magic wand tool. They both do a little bit of a different thing when it comes to selecting, so I'll show you both. Let's start with the quick selection tool. I'll zoom in on the image just a bit by hitting Command plus. And you'll see that I have a circle with a plus sign in it. You can change the size of the quick selection tool simply by hitting the bracket keys next to the letter P. The bracket on the right will increase, the bracket on the left will decrease. If I just click and drag, you'll see that I automatically get those marching ants that we talked about that indicate a selection. So I can just click and drag, and you can see, if I zoom in, that the quick selection tool does a pretty good job, except just now, does a pretty good job of expanding that selection right up to the edge of the object itself. It sort of senses where there are areas of difference and then stops the selection there. So in this example, just by clicking and dragging, that's a pretty good selection right up to the flower, and I might just go ahead and hit delete and get rid of that, that selection. If you happen to select too much, so I'll show you that. So if I select here, you'll see that's on a good path. And then if I happen to maybe come down into the flower, I'll zoom in, Command plus to show you that. In order to get rid of that, you can simply deselect and then try again. Or you can see if I hold down the Option key, that plus that's in the middle changes to a minus, which means that you can take away from the selection. So simply by holding down Option and then now sort of moving that selector brush in that area, you can see it's pushing that out and getting rid of it. So then that looks more like what I might want. And I'll hit delete to get rid of that. So that's the quick selection tool. I'll flip-flop from that to the magic wand. So I'll go over here. I'm holding down the mouse and selecting the magic wand. And the magic wand works by basically selecting everything that's similar to what it is that you initially click on with that magic wand. So let's go ahead and just click on a certain area. So I'll click here. And you'll see that I get those marching ants that indicate a selection all over the document. What the magic wand is doing is that it's selecting everything that it thinks is similar to what it is that I clicked on. So it's selecting basically everything that's kind of dark because that's what I happen to select. We can change that, so I'm going to Command D to deselect, and I'll show you how to fine-tune the magic wand so that it can do more of what you want. So for every single tool in Photoshop, up at the top here is this options bar, and you'll see when I switch to different tools, that options bar changes. So it's specific to the tool that you're on, and it allows you to change the tool in some way to fine-tune things. So if you see here, the first one says tolerance, this little area here. I'll just point to the areas that I tend to use as a way to alter the tool. So with tolerance, it changes how choosy the tool is. So you can see that set at 100, when I click on a dark area, it's selecting all of this stuff here that it thinks is dark, and it's not very selective. If I change that to, let's say, a 10, so I just clicked on it and typed the number 10 in, and then I select that dark area again, you can see that now what it's doing is it's selecting things that are a lot more like that initial area that I clicked on. So that's one way to change it. The other way that I usually work with the magic wand is by checking or unchecking this right here, which says contiguous. And what that means is that it's picking for its sample or for the selection only things that are touching or not. So right now you can see that it's unclicked, unchecked. So when I click on this area at the bottom, it's going to go ahead and choose darks that are similar to that all over the image and all over the document. If I check contiguous and I do that again, you'll see that it's only going to select darks that are immediately in the area, things that are touching the area that I sampled. So the Magic Wand tool is pretty great because it actually allows you to select like areas to get rid of them. So you can see how that works. I'm going to change the tolerance to maybe 30, and I'll show you again how that can affect things. So you can see that it selects a little bit more. So that's the Magic Wand tool and the Quick Selection tool. Those are both tools that you can use to select areas that either you want to affect in some way or select areas that you might want to delete. So that might be something that you might want to do.